Welcome into early signing day part 2 on the Campus2Canton YouTube channel, or the official, if you're listening. This week's the official if you're listening to us on the podcast feed. Austin Nace and Matt Bruening here as usual, and Matt Powell, big wide receiver guy, also here now. And we're also joined by Woody, Andrew Woodruff here tonight. The four of us gonna cover just some of the news that happened today. Kind of react to the guys that flipped, the guys that decommitted, the guys that aren't signing, all that fun stuff that we get on early signing day. Without further ado, let's just jump right in. Let's start with some flips. Let's start with Jared Curtis on this one, because he is kind of like the highest profile guy that actually did flip in the last 48 hours or whatever. I mean, we talked about this on the official a couple times recently. So, Woody, how do you feel about this? Because I think you're probably the only person that isn't on the audio record with whether you like this or not. For him, for Vanderbilt, for all involved.
Yeah, so I guess it's been weird. It's been almost half a year since I've been on here chit-chatting about it. Jared Curtis, honestly, I love it. I know we've seen not the best track record out of kids who last second flip like this, but in this day and age, reps matter the most. And so for Curtis to be able to take a chance to go to Vandy and basically just replace Pavia, man, I think it's going to be phenomenal. He still scored super high for me. So I think he's got all the tangibles to basically keep some of the same traits that Pavia could do by extending the offense in the run game. And honestly, it's better than sitting behind Gunnar Stockton for a year or two.
Matt, wide receiver guy. Now that it's official, pen to paper, you still like this for him as well?
I do. And in fact, not because of this move, but earlier in the week, I made the decision I've been a Keyshawn Henderson QB1 kind of guy for, a while now, but I've decided to push him up to QB1, although I'm very high on both, and both are actually receiving my highest QB grades I've ever given out since 2023.
Whoa. Okay.
Over Underwood?
Yes. I think both are better prospects than Underwood. It took me a little while to come around to it, but in terms of just all the check boxes we're looking for here, like the athleticism, the production, the film, the landing spot, they're really just checking them all for me. I'm trying to dig out some complaints here, I don't know, like Jared Curtis plays a bit reckless at times. He's not playing great competition. That's fine. That's going to be a lot of top QB prospects. So I'm not really going to knock him too much for that. The physical ability of both is immense, and they both have shown progression over the years. I'm willing to take that risk on them.
Wow. Okay. I wasn't expecting this to be a spicy show tonight, but I'm glad that we led off with this, because that's okay. I don't hate it. I've got them essentially tied, Henderson and Curtis. They're like 0.0006 apart. It's very, very close.
They're about the same gap for me as well. Yeah. You can't really go wrong with either, I don't think.
Yeah. Matt, any other additional words, Bruening?
No. I love the hot take from Matt, although I guess we talked a little bit about it in the afternoon show, that we think, as you just said, there's no way to go wrong with either one of these. I think I have them separated by 0.003. So I think that there's definitely an argument for either one of them. I do think it's a little spicy to say they're better than Bryce Underwood. But outside of that, I love it. Excited to see him at Vanderbilt, like we talked about earlier. If Pavia doesn't come back and he is the starter year one for Vanderbilt, they've flipped a lot of wide receivers over the past couple of days as well. I'm excited to kind of see what this Vanderbilt offense looks like. It might actually be a playoff team in a couple of years.
Do we like any of the wide receivers that they flipped? I don't think that I have grades on any of them, actually.
I don't either. Matt, do you, or Woody? Do either one of you guys have any grades on the wide receivers they flipped?
I know they flipped Cable, which I don't have a great grade on him. Who else did they flip?
Let me look. There was like 3 of them I thought I saw earlier today while Austin and I were recording.
I'm honestly not familiar with who they flipped, so I might have a grade.
Smith. I don't know. He was already committed, wasn't he?
Let's see.
No, they just have Cable and Caden Smith, unless 24/7's behind.
No, I already had Caden Smith as Vandy, so you're right on that part.
Ryder Lyons officially signed, by the way.
We that is on the list to talk about, Matthew. So thank you for.
I'll go to private chat so I don't. Because I don't know if you saw these other flips here that I'm about to tell you about.
I actually think that I did like his not committing thing, but yeah, Lyons did commit today to BYU. We know that he's going to be sitting out a year to go on his mission, and then he'll be back to BYU. I don't know. I don't have strong thoughts here other than just like I can't imagine personally drafting a player that's not even going to be like taking practice reps for a whole year. That's just personal philosophy for me. Do you share that philosophy, or the underlying metrics are just too good to do that?
Nah, he's worth passing for me. About to say, like, he's in the 80s. A lot of quarterbacks can fall in that range. And like you said, I'm not wasting a roster spot for a year. I believe in the talent. It's like waiting on Gatlin Bear right now. I'll go make an offer right now. And the person who has them, if he even still holding them, might be willing to dip at this point.
Especially if they get Chris Henry Jr., which we'll talk about later. So don't worry about it, Bruening. You don't have to, lay the table before anybody's ready to eat at it. Does anybody have thoughts on Lyons? I know this was kind of news a little bit today. I just don't have a strong take on him other than like, I hate the whole mission thing. No, not to denigrate a religion. I just like for like our purpose, it just sucks.
I wouldn't hate it as bad since it's just a 1 year, but he's going to BYU with Bear Bachmeier doing a solid job there, a pretty good, as good as a job as you could probably hope for a true freshman coming in who's not a super highly rated guy. So I don't love that. I mean, he will have the pedigree, but Bachmeier will be a 2-year starter at that point, and Lyons will be sitting out a year going into it. So it's just tough. If he was going to a landing spot with a more clear path to being the guy, I would be into it. But I still think he's draftable, especially if you can get him if he slips all the way to the end of a draft of a supplemental, sure. I'll definitely take him there.
Yeah, I'm with Matt. I think he's draftable. It just depends on where he falls in drafts. I mean, I have him graded very high, a high 4-star. I really like him as a player. The mission part, again, we talked about it earlier today. When you have a quarterback sitting out for a year, I just think that's not good. I think at any other position you can miss reps and it's okay. Quarterback is the one position you do not want to miss any reps if possible. As Matt just mentioned, which I don't think we talked about, Bear Bachmeier will likely still be there, has been fairly good in his freshman season. I don't know that Ryder Lyons would go in there and unseat him in any kind of way. So he's going to be sitting for a couple of years after he comes back from the mission. So I do find it hard to use a roster spot on him. It would just depend on how far he falls. And again, that's assuming he stays at BYU. Maybe he'll transfer out. He clearly held off signing at least for a couple hours for a reason. Maybe there was another team that jumped in there. Maybe he flips after he comes back from his mission and gains some value back.
Couple big flips that happened on the actual day today. Let's start with Legend Bay, just because I know he's a guy that we were really interested in going to Ohio State. I don't know that we have full reporting on this. Could definitely maybe change our opinion a little bit, but the stuff that I've seen coming out still kind of has him labeled as wide receiver for Tennessee, whereas he would have been running back at Ohio State. So shout out to Mrs. Legend Bay, his mom, I don't know what her name is, who apparently wouldn't let him sign for Ohio State. Good stuff.
Is he going to flip in like 3 weeks when the transfer portal opens?
Well, he turns 18 on December 25th. I think he's a Christmas baby. And then allegedly, I guess he doesn't need her anymore. So we've seen weirder stuff happen, but I kind of doubt it.
I mean, JKS spent, a week at Oregon. It's like, nah, California's the place to be. So,
yeah, the first time that was only one flip. I mean, that's he already committed to Ohio State and then flipped from there to go back to Tennessee on signing. I'd be very surprised if he flipped again.
I see people trying to draw the line between Hartline leaving and I don't know that that's really what you can really make that connection, considering he wasn't going to be primarily a wide receiver there.
Based on everything I've seen, it was purely a mom and family sort of decision, as well as Tennessee had the better NIL offering.
So those two could be related.
Yeah.
Good times. I don't know that we need to talk that much more about that then. Just is what it is. Another guy that he probably is going to fall down our boards pretty considerably. I mean, are we going to switch him in our ranking set to wide receiver now because he's
I already did.
You already did? Okay.
It broke my heart.
Now this is going to be the third time grading Legend Bay for me because I've got a QB grade on him sitting in the background. I've got a running back grade, and now I get to go do a wide receiver grade. Cool. At least we know he won't play tight end. He's 5'9", 185. We're feeling pretty good about that. The other one, Caden Dixon-Wyatt flipping to USC. I think this one was kind of smoke signals for a week or two now. We're pretty in line with the services on him. Decent recruit, nothing like groundbreaking. Do we think? I mean, USC. Is that a better spot for him? Comparable spot?
I think it's probably a slight upgrade. I mean, he's not dealing with the kind of competition he will at Ohio State. But still, he's not going to be the top wide receiver in his class, more than likely. And that, I think all of us here have Ethan Booby Feaster ahead of him at the least. And I know we have fans of, I'm blanking on his name. Mosley, yes. Tristan Mosley. A lot of people are fans of him as well. Trent. Close enough. It's a T name.
Somewhere in there.
But I know some of us are a big fan of him as well. I'm not quite, but and they also have Luke Weaver. I think they have someone else too that might.
Yeah, they do. I was actually trying to get him graded today just to get a look on him. Kendrick or Roderick Tizeno out of Louisiana.
Jamiron Baker as well. I'm pretty sure. So they've got a lot of guys coming in. So that's the only thing that really concerns me.
I mean, USC signed 35 freshmen today. That's kind of asinine.
That's crazy.
All strategy.
Do you like Feaster more than Dixon-Wyatt as well? Like, I know you haven't been a Dixon-Wyatt guy at all, Woody. I just didn't know where you have Feaster in terms of in your numbers.
Yeah, Feaster much higher than Dixon-Wyatt. Dixon-Wyatt came out to around like what JoJo Trader was for me, and I was kind of against that from the start. So let's hope for better. Trent Mosley, Luke Weaver, I heard y'all mention them. They're actually my highest of the two for the USC group, which is surprising. I thought Feaster would for sure be ahead of them. So I don't know. It's an interesting fit, and like you said, there's a lot of freshmen in there. So spring camp's going to be massively important for me to try and catch what they say.
Let's see here. Who else flipped today? A lot of action around Washington. Jordan Clay flipped there late last night. Baylor to Washington. As he scores poorly in your stuff as he does in our production numbers, Woody? Our official ones?
That's it. He's solid up there. So it just depends on ADP. When do I try and take that shot?
Matt, wide receiver guy, any?
Probably not draftable for me. I mean, he's a solid possession receiver. He could be pretty good in college. I don't ever expect him to be the wide receiver one there. But I think he can hang around to be productive for a few years.
Yeah. And Bruening, you think similarly on that, right?
Yeah. I don't have really anything else to add than what we talked about this morning on Clay. I mean, I think he brings something different to the room. Big contested catch guy, so it could be interesting for DeMond Williams in that offense. But I mean, I don't think he's going to be anything, or at least a massive producer for the college fantasy side.
They also flipped. Where is he? Trez Davis here from Tulane. I guess not technically a direct flip because I think he decommitted in between, but whatever. I don't know. This felt like a really weird one to me because he's the same as all the other receivers they have there, but worse. I don't really understand the thinking behind that for him. How does he score for you? Because I know Bruening likes him a little bit. The rest of us don't like him, but we don't hate him either.
Yeah, so his score is under 60%, which I'm just going to drag and drop real quick. That's going to place him right here at receiver 108. So I will not be touching him. It's bad. I'm about to say we've got 24 games. He barely even hits 1,500 yards across those 24 games. It seems like a role player. So I'd rather watch him see if he uses anything off waivers, kind of like Roebuck was last year.
That is the one thing. Washington has had a pretty good eye for these guys that at least can be contributors. So that is something that's been floating around the back of my mind on him. And Clay, for what it's worth. Just, he's a different kind of guy than what the rest of what they have on the roster, which maybe makes him interesting. And then they lose Dre Pollard. And I think wide receiver guy, you and I both have grades on him. And I think we're in a similar range, like not draftable, kind of interesting, like athlete type, like positionless guy that maybe Stanford can do something interesting with.
Yeah, it sounds like they're going to give him a legitimate shot to play both sides. So don't love to hear that.
Gross.
So yeah, I think based on his build, he's probably better off as a DB than a running back. But interesting athlete. I didn't hate his tape as a running back. Thought he was kind of comparable to Brian Bonner, who the services like a good bit more than we do, I think. But yeah, so it's going to be hard to make him a draftable guy for me. Just on who knows? He's not that high of a prospect, and who knows if he's even going to be primarily offensive player.
I am so sick of this playing both ways bullcrap. One guy did it, and now all of a sudden everybody thinks they can do it. Spoiler alert: you probably cannot. Just to name some other guys real quick that flipped today: Peyton Valzone. Sure, why not? If they have a plan to keep Deuce Knight at Auburn, that makes some sense. And he was originally committed there a few months ago. He checks a lot of like the athleticism and but not the production boxes for us, I believe. So maybe a future CFF player, wide receiver guy.
I do like his just upside. I mean, he is such a freaky athlete. Both in terms of he has a pretty good arm, but he is huge and very fast, and I really liked his tape from what I saw as well. I thought his passes downfield were very impressive. Just a big time backyard playmaker kind of play style. So a ton to clean up. I remember Colin went to his Elite 11 regional. Mm-hmm. And the reports out there were not great. So just a ton of work to do on the technical side, but some of the highest upside that you can get in this class. So truly a boomer bust guy. And it'll be really interesting to see who they bring in at Penn State for whoever's running that offense. And he could definitely be a very interesting CFF guy, at least if they do bring somebody in.
Woody? Similar thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. The athletic upside's really nice. I'm kind of questioning, like, what's the fit going to be? Like you said, let's look at the coaching staff before I kind of make a permanent decision. Hey, am I in on this guy or am I out? But just depending on where everybody's at on Penn State in general, he might be a value by the time we get to the drafts coming up in the spring.
He could be a really interesting one to watch there, and falls in that arm velo athleticism, just like general bucket that we are at least hoping for a base level for the future. Let's go to guys here that didn't sign on the day. Actually, one more that I just did want to, two more that I want to shout out. Slise Moa, flipping back. He's from the Utah area. He flipped back from Tennessee to Utah. We have him wide receiver 35. He's athlete 3. It does sound like he's going to play wide receiver guy, Matt.
Yeah, that's what I saw. I didn't look too much into it, but they did list him as a wide receiver.
Yeah. Somebody said, and Timothy says, please tell me Chris Henry Jr. goes to Oregon.
Or not. Let's hope not.
Certainly possible. Sounds like Texas is getting involved there as well. We're going to talk about that here in a couple minutes, I think. So we'll see what ends up happening there. Amari Latimer. We talked about him a little bit earlier on the first live show this morning. He was a flip candidate potentially. Hadn't heard anything yet. Has flipped to West Virginia. We have him RB11. Composite has him RB19. So we're not too far off from there. 5'11", 230. Good, really good production and athleticism scores. I think I have like another slide that has both of them on it here because he's also in our top 12 running backs. Yeah, 94th percentile production, 95th percentile athleticism. So, Woody, thoughts on Amari Latimer?
Yeah, I mean, y'all hit it. He maxed out my recruit production score. He's actually third in the class just based off landing spot, recruit services, the production itself. Really solid receiver, even at his size. So that mean he's got a chance to come in and just take a massive role if West Virginia can get their offense rolling next year.
We know that Rich Rod likes himself a good running back. So some potentially interesting stuff there. All right. Some players that did not sign today. Just wanted to mention some of them. Jalen Lotz, the wide receiver supposed to be for Oregon, is not signing today. Sounds like maybe that he's waiting, Matt Powell, on Chris Henry Jr. decision.
Yeah, that's a speculation I saw, and it kind of makes sense. They already got to Corey Moore there, who has at least 2 more years, before he goes to the NFL. There just won't be enough to go around if Henry Jr. does land there. So I do like it, and honestly, I wouldn't be upset if Lott and Henry Jr. flipped from Oregon because, for our purposes, for fantasy football. I just don't want that crowded of a room with that many high-end talents. You start getting to like the Ohio State issue where this talent isn't translating to production the way we want it to be. So wait and see on that. I imagine we won't be waiting too long. Once we hear from Chris Henry Jr., I imagine the dominoes will probably fall pretty quick.
Matt Bruening, do you like Lott?
That's a good question. I actually don't know where I have him graded. He's fine, I think. I don't have him super high. Where do I have him currently? I have him as my wide receiver 6, right behind Booby Feaster. So I don't hate Lott. I would be very curious to see where he ends up going if Henry does end up going to Oregon. I still think that he could possibly be fine there. I mean, Oregon doesn't have a whole lot in that room. Obviously, I think the main question is going to be whether Henry does or doesn't go to Oregon. You're looking at possibly an offense change as well. We know Will Stein took the Kentucky job, so will they pass the ball as much as they have been with Will Stein as the offensive coordinator? I would assume so because Dan Lanning has kind of kept the offensive coordinator hires in like a similar vein with what Kenny Dillingham did and then what Will Stein did. But that's probably also a small concern for Jalen Lott if he sticks with Oregon, if Chris Henry Jr. doesn't. But I would be very curious to see where Lott goes if Henry Jr. does decide to go Oregon and he decides not to follow through with that commitment.
Calvin Russell not signing today. Any thoughts on Calvin Russell from anybody here that are largely positive? I mean, I think we're a little skeptical, but is that accurate, Woody?
Yeah. I already talked about Dixon Wyatt. He's even lower. So that tells everything I need to know. It's a system play for me. If you're going to be interested, it's because he's going to Syracuse, and Syracuse keeps trying to throw the ball 500 times a game.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was going to say. I mean, again, maybe some of these guys should reach out to the Campus2Canton, what's the consulting service here? Because I actually think he should have just stayed with Syracuse. He likely would have gone in and been the starting wide receiver. As Woody just mentioned, they're likely going to get Steve Angeli back next year, so he's probably going to throw the ball 30 plus times a game, which would have helped Russell out. I don't know where he's going to possibly. We don't know for sure if he's not going to sign for Syracuse. He's just delaying his signing, which makes me think another team has possibly jumped in the mix. So I'll be very curious to see what happens with him. If I were him, I would just stay with Syracuse at this point.
Allegedly Michigan.
Yeah, I just saw that.
God, that would be such a bad decision.
I will add too, Syracuse has I think 5 or 6 other wide receiver commits this year. So that could be coming into play as well.
They are taking the shotgun approach too. Is that including the rapper?
That is not actually. So I
so
forgot about him. 2C.
We're gonna grade him.
I mean, he's a true freshman. He has full college eligibility. He's just 25 years old.
Oh, is he that old?
Yeah, he's 25.
Hey, never give up on your dreams, kids. Never give up on your dreams.
I'm going to call Syracuse tomorrow and see if they still got a spot.
Speaking of Syracuse, there is this Phoenix Henriquez. Have y'all graded him yet?
Yes,
Yeah,
I'm a fan of him.
We all like him a lot more than he's my top rated Syracuse wide receiver.
Yeah, by a long shot for me too. I was just wondering that.
Where how high do you have him in the class?
See, so he's 79 overall, so that would probably set him up to be just inside the top 20, top 25. Let me see where that's at. 79. Yeah, so right around that range. So it's interesting. I hadn't heard him mentioned a whole lot, so that might be a value that we can play later on if we don't accidentally hype him up too much to everybody else.
I made a lot of graphics for today. I didn't think I would need to make one for Phoenix Henriquez. 6'1", 165. He's out of Smyrna, Delaware. Wide receiver 210. That's right, 210 in the composite. But we have an over 80th percentile production score on him here with our numbers. The 95th, 96th percentile star rating. At least that was as of a week ago. He's got 22 mile per hour max speed measured against, serviceable strength of schedule. I actually have pretty long notes on him, which is surprising. That means that means I liked him. Otherwise I write like 4 words. Matt Powell, you're the one I think who originally had said, I know you hate all these other guys. You should go watch him.
Yeah, I mean, his film was interesting enough. It is a bummer because I do have him just slightly out of draftable territory right now, just because of how many of wide receivers they have there in that Syracuse class. And I don't hate Russell. I think he would probably come in and be the wide receiver 1 of this class. But then they also have Amari Go, who I also think is pretty good, or at least a maybe comparable level of Phoenix Henriquez. Then they have 2 other guys from Delaware. They have 2C now. So I don't know. It's just tough. I would love to see Phoenix flip, but I don't think he has too many other big time offers. So kind of a wait and see guy for me at the moment.
I do have a draftable grade on him, just very, very barely. I don't know that I could stomach drafting the 210th ranked wide receiver in the composite and supplemental drafts. That feels like a wait and see kind of guy for me.
Hey, just put him at the top of the waivers watch list. If he gets that non-conference play, add him.
Well, I think he's got a lot of special teams value. I think it wouldn't shock me if he gets on the field early doing special team stuff if they need somebody to do that. So I don't know. It's gonna be interesting. Yeah, he's definitely got to watch and check snap shares every week for the first 2 months, 6 weeks, whatever, to figure it out. I'm glad you mentioned him, Woody. Thank you for bringing him up. That's a good one. Let's see who else do I have on here now. Oh, that's already Jalen Law. That's a decommit. I'm sorry. Screw it. We're doing it live here. Carson Baker not signing with Florida, and I guess technically he has decommitted. Sounds like A&M is the rumor that I heard. That feels very, very weird to me.
I guess he's their replacement for Jonathan Hatton, which it's a pretty apt replacement. I mean, they're both just kind of really fast straight line guys who aren't particularly great running backs.
Thoughts, Woody, on Baker?
No, he said it. I'll say I'm not going to end up touching him probably for the range he's in. To be a P4 guy who's got a 60 on the score, probably would just pass on that one. Yeah, that put him at 42nd for me, just in this class.
Bruening, do you have any thoughts on Carson Baker?
No, I mean, I kind of agree with the guys here. I would pass on him. I mean, I still like KJ Edwards, who I believe is still, as of right now, or he signed, right? So, I mean, he is with the Aggies. I think that he is by far a much better talent than Carson Baker. If I'm drafting a running back in this class in supplemental drafts next year, it would be Edwards every time over Baker. I really have no interest in him.
All right. And then the only other one that I had written down here is Zion Robinson not signing today. Well, there's 2 guys that we actually like that we'll talk about here in a second. Zion Robinson, Michigan, flipping closer to home, it sounds like maybe. I don't know if that means UNC or NC State, or I don't know what that means. But.
You mean
I don't have much to say.
Zion Robinson's from Texas, Mansfield, Texas, my friend. about
Is he?
25 minutes down the road. Like 90% positive.
You sure?
No,
So,
now I'm not, but I'm pretty
I'm
sure.
pretty sure he is.
Oh.
Yeah,
Who am I
he's from
thinking of then?
Mansfield.
The stuff I saw today said, oh yeah, you're right. People were
Yeah.
saying ACC school, North Carolina, somewhere in North Carolina.
Oh, I mean, he still might be going to an ACC
Yeah.
school. I mean, I don't know where he would go down here. I don't think he's Texas or Texas A&M level. I mean, we already know SMU is loaded at wide receiver with Aljor Miles and I forgot who Matt's guy is in the class, but they're gonna.
Mine's Aljor. You
He's
like
Aljor. Jakai is your guy.
Oh yeah,
you
yeah,
like
yeah. My
Jakai.
bad.
You don't even
Yeah,
know
both
who your
of them.
guy is?
No, I like Aljor Miles too. That's what I said. I told when we talked about this last time, SMU is going to kill it with their recruiting class. So there's really no room for him at SMU. Maybe he goes to UNT. I don't know. But yeah, he's I don't know, an interesting. I don't know where he would go. We obviously have him much lower in our ratings than the consensus, as you can see there. They have him top 30. I didn't realize they had him that high. But yeah.
Yeah, he's wide receiver 30 in the composite.
Yeah, he's like almost 70 for me, so I'm pretty much in line with y'all at that point.
Yeah, not a name that I'm particularly interested in. We've danced around this issue long enough, so I guess we can talk about Chris Henry Jr. not signing yet. I mean, I think if you are listening and watching to this program, you know who Chris Henry Jr. is.
Yeah.
I mean, wherever he goes, he's going to play. I feel pretty confident about that. I don't think I have a lot of worry about those side of things. And actually, I've been workshopping a take all afternoon since Brian Hartline got his new job. So I want you guys to tell me what you think about this.
Please tell me you think he's following him to USF.
Brian Hartline obviously recruited a lot of these guys, but other than Olave, pretty much all of them have come into school as highly rated guys that we thought were studs right off the rip. I don't know how much I care that any of them are actually attached to Brian Hartline anymore. If he goes to Ohio State, I really just don't care.
I mean, disagree too heavily.
I don't disagree at all. We talked about this on the show earlier, Austin. Really, I mean, again, let's take Jeremiah Smith out of it because I think I forgot who, Will Howard was talking about him in an interview recently, saying that he thinks Jeremiah Smith could have played in the NFL as a true freshman. Jeremiah Smith is a different, beast here. Who's the last wide receiver that he's turned into a great player over the past couple of classes? Just JSN and Garrett Wilson, right? Well, Marvin Harrison Jr., my bad, even though he struggled in the NFL. Well, Marv was not as rated highly. JSN was very high up. Garrett Wilson was top 5 in his class, right? Julian Fleming bombed out. Okay.
Egbuka was
the
number one guy in his class.
Tate
those
was
are the high-end
top
guys, though,
5.
right? Those are all high-end guys, though.
Yes, they're
Look at how
all
many.
yeah, Olave is the only somewhat recent guy that was not rated highly.
Right,
Yep.
but then how many of the high-end guys too have also bombed out? Ennis is another one up there with Julian Fleming. There's
He had Jameson Williams.
Yeah, there's another one too, and I for the life of me cannot remember who it is. So no, anyways, I don't disagree with you. I don't think that Hartline is going to hurt the wide receiver recruiting for the future. I mean, I don't know. A lot of people scout the helmet anyways, but it'll be interesting to see what happens.
I mean, maybe they won't bring in as many guys. Maybe he's just that good of a recruiter. I just don't know that if Chris Henry were still to go to Ohio State, that I'd be like, well, he doesn't have Brian Hartline there, so I don't know. I just don't know anymore. I don't know that it matters. I don't know that it matters.
Yeah, I think overall, I don't really. It doesn't really matter where he ends up. I think he's in that tier of player for us that just landing spot just doesn't really matter. He's probably fine no matter where he goes.
Rank the landing spots, Woody. Ohio State, Texas, Oregon, USC. Do you have a best one for him?
Let's see. You said Ohio State, Texas, Oregon, and what was the other one?
USC. I think those are the 4 that are still being mentioned as potential spots for him.
Just remember who paid you in case anybody's listening.
Ohio State is going to be my top one just because of the openings. I wouldn't hate Oregon pairing up with Moore. Texas feels like it's trying to change its offense. It's not really going vertical anymore. It's more like horizontal, the quick hitters, the crossers. So I don't know if he fits that scheme as well. So I guess yeah, it'd be USC and then Texas last.
I don't hate any of them. I mean, I think he will thrive at whichever one he goes. I mean, let's be honest. The only one if he goes to Ohio State, that's the only one that he's not probably going to completely ball out as a freshman because Jeremiah Smith will be there. He'll probably still have a very good year, but he probably won't be the wide receiver one. If he goes to USC, who's holding him out from being probably the top wide receiver on the team? Tonick Hines? If he goes to Texas, who is it? I mean, there's nobody on that team that does anything like what Chris Henry does on Texas. And even Oregon, like, don't get me wrong, I love DeCorian Moore, but I think Chris Henry Jr. is a much better wide receiver than even DeCorian Moore. So no matter where he goes, I think he's going to absolutely thrive. Austin seems a little...
I'm looking to see where as you're saying that, like, I have a 0.8336 grade on Henry right now. I just want to see what I had on DeCorian.
I think I had DeCorian at like an 8.2, and I have Henry at an 8.4 right behind Tristan Keys right now.
I had DeCorian as an 8.8353. So DeCorian technically tiny bit higher. And I thought he lived up to what I expected this year. So.
Yeah, I mean, outside the injury, he was absolutely phenomenal. But still, I think wherever he goes, he's going to be fine. I don't disagree with Woody. Probably Texas is the worst landing spot. But again, I think if he were to go to Texas, I think Sark would not build the whole offense around Henry Jr., but I think he would become the wide receiver one the way he obviously completely different player type. So I'm not comparing that, but just the way the offense ran or threw Xavier Worthy a couple years ago when he was there, especially when they had, oh God, who was the quarterback? Was it still Casey Thompson, right? Hudson Card had left. When Casey Thompson started as quarterback and was just not that good, like they built the entire offense really kind of going through a true freshman in Xavier Worthy, who was phenomenal as a true freshman for them. I think they would do the same thing for him if he were to go to Texas because they just don't have anybody with that skill talent in the room.
Built the whole offense out of scraps in a cave. I think that's the saying, the meme. I think it would free up Wingo a little bit because they tried to put a lot of responsibility on Wingo early in the year, and I think they realized really quickly that he can't do a lot of that stuff. I don't know. All interesting spots for sure, and we'll see where he ends up choosing. Do we think he signs before National Signing Day?
Yeah, I think we find out by this weekend
because they have a window here, right? It's only a few days they can sign. And then they have to wait till February? Is that my understanding?
No,
yeah,
I think we can. No. Players can sign whenever they want.
Oh, the whole window's open until February?
No, there's no window. I think they can just sign at any point in the year.
I thought it was.
Am I crazy?
I thought it was still
there's a cutoff.
Yeah, I think it's December 5th, and then I think it opens back up again in February. I could be wrong too, but I
didn't know that.
December 5th. I think we find out this weekend. I think whatever. I guarantee, because he was taking visits and everything. I know he supposedly, quote unquote, shut down his recruitment before all this happened. I think the Heartline leaving to USF was an excuse for him to kind of open it back up again and see maybe if there's any other interest. Again, Oregon can offer a lot of money. It's also a very good landing spot. Reports are USC is throwing a lot of money at him, as you guys just mentioned, Texas in it as well. I think he makes his decision by the end of the weekend,
though. Samson Gash. We talked some Samson Gash. We were talking a little bit about him pre-show, I think. A guy that we are like way higher than the services on. Good production, good athleticism, straight line speed's awesome, decent size. A little unrefined, but not terribly so. It's committed. Well, he's another. I don't think he decommitted. Did he? I just think he's not.
He's still committed. Yeah.
So, but Michigan State, I mean, I don't think the Michigan State thing is going to happen. So I'm sorry to all of our Michigan State listeners. It was Alabama as kind of like the spot that they thought he might go, but now their wide receiver coach is now the head coach at Oregon State. So, I mean, he's already made a bad decision once. Does he want to do it again? If so, Pacific Northwest is lovely this time of year right here.
I think it's probably a better spot than staying at Michigan State, at least.
Probably.
At least for CFF.
Well, Pat Fitzgerald swears that he discovered the forward pass while he was out the past year or two. He knows what it is now, so that could be good. Woody, does Gash score well for you, like he does for us, or not really?
No, not really. I like seeing some versatility with the run game for a receiver, but he kind of looks almost more like a gadget type player at that point. So it kind of does drop him just a little bit in my system for the receivers. But again, it's still higher than some of these other dudes we've talked about recently. So I guess it's more just wait and see, like, where does he fit in, whatever he decides to do.
I do think that Alabama would not be great for him either. I don't know that he's refined enough to get on the field day one there. And they don't lose a lot. So
Was it just Bernard?
in terms of having to leave, yeah. There's,
Yeah.
Horton can leave if he wants. I don't know what that's going to look like. It sounds like that family's unhappy with how he's been deployed this year, although he scored, 3 touchdowns last weekend, so maybe they're happy again. I don't know. I don't know. Who else do I have on my lovely list of players here? Plater. Marcia Plater, running back who is not committed. Another guy we're higher than the services on, about 29 spots higher. Fun player. Any hopes, wishes? I know he's visiting Colorado. Please, man.
Oh gosh,
where's C2C Consulting? Someone give me this guy's number. I will personally call him and preach the gospel to not head out to Boulder.
I don't have too much on him. I mostly view him as a pretty solid CFF guy, although he does have a pretty high athletic score. I don't think he has any massive testing a single event, but just a well-rounded profile on a bit of a more stocky, shorter back. It's very landing spot dependent for me. I see as a Memphis offer too. I have no clue if that's at play still. I think we visited him back in June. But the only in-season visit has been Colorado, which, as you said, wouldn't love that.
Yeah, we'd probably move him down to undraftable for me if that were to happen. They don't run the ball. Why would I want to be interested in a running back on that team? They're not going to run the ball. They never will. They can't. I don't know. Any other news you guys want to cover from today? We said we were going to go, about 45 minutes, and we are close to that point. I think we kind of covered all the notes that I had down on the sheet here. Kenny, do you want to talk Kenny Darby, Woody? Do you want to preach the good word?
Still top 5 in my class when it comes to the scores, so we're just going to see what happens. I only seen one prediction from last year. It was the state, so that'd be lovely for a Mississippi State fan. They need some hope to go with Taylor, but the last one I saw, it looks like it could be also flipped to Alabama, so I don't hate that either. It's just, what does that room look like going forward? But hold strong. If it makes them cheaper, let's go.
I think I'd prefer Mississippi State over Alabama if those are 2 choices.
Mississippi State's got so many. They also have 6 or 7 commits in this class. It's wide receiver commits. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, but are any of them as good as Darby? I know. I think probably me and Woody are the highest on Darby than everybody else. Are any of them as good as Darby though?
Well, I mean, it depends on how they're good, but they have a lot. They have guys in that area. I think K-Part's probably in a similar range for me. I think Creation's up there too. I'm blanking on they have Zion.
Crumpton.
I guess last name.
Don't worry about it. It's Crumpton. You don't need
Crumpton. Yeah, but I'm pretty sure he might be playing tight end, or I'm not too sure about him.
Yeah, I wasn't clear on what position he's playing.
It sounds like they want him to be a move tight end. Oh no, not Crumpton. Crumpton's the other one.
He's a skinny little receiver that's not going to do anything. The tight end.
I know who you're talking about.
I don't know his name.
Cotton. Zion Cotton.
Yes. Zion Cotton, yeah.
Or Zion, yeah, that's it. He looked good.
Yeah, he runs a confirmed 4.49 at 215, 6'4", so he's that kind of guy. But he's probably a tight end. But anyway, bunch of guys. I think Darby would probably be the best amongst that group. But when you're dealing with that many more players, it's you're reducing the odds that he's going to be the best player amongst that group. Is all I'm saying.
That's fair. I mean, again, I think him going to Alabama. I mean, you've definitely got Ryan Williams, Horton. Horton still has 1 year, right? And that we were just talking about.
Yes, he does have one. Yeah.
So, I mean, I just think it would be hard to find him getting a whole lot of playing time in Alabama, especially with what's your guy's name, Austin? That I'm forgetting right now. The true freshman who's been fairly decent.
Lotsier.
Yeah, well, I mean, Lotier's been good as well when he's gotten a chance. So, I mean, you probably already have at least a starting 3 out there. You know, does Darby get a chance to get on the field again? Just from a year 1-0 perspective, I feel like Mississippi State's probably the better shot than Alabama.
I agree with that. Brennan Thompson, I think he's out at eligibility. Is that right? So like, there's a chance he could come in and fight for some of that share. Plus, they like to throw the ball around, so it helps the odds.
All right. I think that's gonna do it for the show. I think that covers everything we had here on early signing day. Of course, we'll be monitoring, all these different players and the last remaining landing spots and all that good stuff as we go forward over the next few days, few weeks, few months. I'm sure we'll be starting production on the supplemental guide soon. So we'll be having a meeting about that in the not so distant future. But thank you guys for tuning in here with us today. We hope that you enjoyed the live programming. If you're listening to this on the podcast feed, thanks for tuning in there. We will see you guys next week on the official. Take care, guys.